Hello.
Welcome to the Bible Study Girl podcast. I'm Sarita. You may know me as Bible Study Girl, and the first voice you heard was the executive producer of this podcast, Bible Study Brother.
It is I, Bible Study Brother, but I'm also known as Icarus Gray over at Gray Area Anime. This is the most wonderful podcast of your day. BSG's debut on a musical album, Gray Matter, by Icarus Gray, is out now. Go and cop it wherever you get your music. And, you know, if you want us to come perform, yeah, I can do that too.
And when he says us, he really means him because, guys, I'm just on an interlude. I didn't get my own song, but that's okay because he doesn't have to give me a song. You know why? Because my father owns the cattle on 1,000 hills, and if he wants me to be on a song, he will put me on one. And my brother does not have to be the one to do it. Okay, I'm back. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
So done with you.
Oh, we're so glad you guys decided to plug us into your ears today. Today we are doing another blog recap, and we are talking about the blog Rest. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, you may be like, what is a blog recap and what are y'all talking about? You can head over to BibleStudyGirl.com, touch the magnifying glass in the upper right hand corner, and type in the word rest. That blog will come right up for you. You can read it, and then you'll have a better idea of what we're talking about today. The way our blog recap works is that Bible Study Brother will give you a brief synopsis of what the blog is about, so you're not lost when he's talking, because he likes to talky, and he makes a long story long. But so you guys will have an idea of what we're talking about. He gives you a brief synopsis, and then he tells you any insights that he got from reading the blog, how it impacted him personally, things that it made him think about. And then I interrupt him. I do while he's giving his recap and how he felt, because I mean, it's conversation. And then I'll let you guys know.
I like the spin there.
It is conversation. It's not a solo man's podcast. We talk around here. So the next thing we do is I tell you guys how I felt at the time that the blog was published, and I give you an up-to-date view of how I'm feeling about what was discussed in the blog, if my feelings have changed, if they remain the same, and just how life has changed since the time the blog was published. You guys are in luck. We are, the blog we're talking about today, Rest, was published in November of 2019. So 3.5 years ago, this blog was put out into the World Wide Web, and it's been living there ever since. So I'm very interested to see or to hear about how you felt when you read the blog Rest. Isn't the cover photo so cute?
I mean, yes, it fits. So anything Fitz related is by proxy fairly adorable. But what I've been thinking about as I was reading this blog post, and this was basically about my sister having to take a day of rest. She had like a day off or something like. Let me go back. Let me actually make sure why you were taking a day off.
No, it was just a regular day.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, anyway, it was just a regular day. And she needed to rest, which is something that's very difficult for the busybody that is my sister.
This is true. Let me say this, just as a quick aside. I like to think that I'm not busy, and then I realize, hey, yo, you have a lot of stuff on your plate. Continue.
And so in this, she realized the day of rest and not like filling her day with all of these things that she quote unquote wanted to get done, but with earnest rest. And I have one question though.
Okay.
I don't remember what day this was, and there's mention of like us playing on the Switch, and I don't even remember doing this.
You do realize this is 3.5 years later. I have no
we've lived
either. A life. We've lived a life.
Okay.
Then
we've lived a life. That was the first question I had in my mind. I was like,
thought the same thing, like, and I see, this is one thing that makes me so thrilled about writing this blog, because I have memories that are encapsulated in time, to even know that day existed, because my life is so full. I would not know that day existed. So there's that.
You apparently talked with my lovely wife about your book, and I'm like, what is this day? And what did we do?
It was a great day.
Like, because I feel like the two things are separate, because I feel like I came over by myself.
Can't have.
It feels like it.
Can't have.
You're correct. Can't have.
Can't have, because I discussed things with her.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's so strange. Anyway, but
this day is recorded in history.
Yeah.
If I had not written about it, we wouldn't
even have a mystery to solve.
Right.
That eventually I will solve. Because
I will say though, it had to be a Saturday. I'm fairly certain it was a Saturday and not a Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It had to be a Saturday. That's all I got.
Had to be. Like, just had to be.
Because I didn't mention it being a long Sunday. You know, we try to avoid those long Sundays, but they happen.
No, we didn't try to avoid them. You tried to, like, at some point we just accepted that they were going to happen because we needed to get stuff done on Sunday. And me and you have had some, like, one of the episodes, because I don't even think you've done a blog post on long Sundays. But maybe
I don't think I've done a blog post on long Sundays, but I know we've mentioned them on the podcast.
But that is 100% an episode. Just because y'all, like, anyway. So when I thought about rest, and it's funny how timely this episode is. During the first half of your little bit, I'm probably going to go get a guest for this, because we're just going to talk about rest and how you need it. And how this, even for you.
Then that guest won't be resting, but go ahead.
For a little bit. There's a chair here for that person. So you recently encountered this again in terms of needing to rest. You underwent a myomectomy. Was that too much?
It was, but go ahead.
Was it too much? We here now.
It was.
Sorry, I apologize. Like, you know,
we here now.
I'm sorry. I just felt led.
You and your mama love to violate my hip.
What?
Did I go on Facebook and say, hey guys, I'm having a myomectomy today and I'd appreciate your prayers? No, but we hear it is what it is.
But the prayers of the righteous avail as much. So thank you.
Avail as much, baby. I'm healed.
You are. So anyway, so you had that happen to you. And when that happened to you, you had to sit your butt down for 6 weeks. And we've told the story recently, but we're going to tell it again. So in those 6 weeks, there's a portion where you had gone for your checkup.
No, I had not. I didn't have my checkup.
At the end is what I'm saying. Like within, like outside of those. Doesn't matter. You go and you get a checkup after your recovery phase.
Not talking about at my 6 weeks?
At your 6 weeks, yes.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You go and get a checkup. This is the portion that you need to listen to, guys. Resting and understanding that your body is still changing and building itself.
Is this the story about walking?
This is. I'm just going to tell
you. Okay, so no, you could tell that story, but what I'm saying to you is I had not been to my 6 week checkup to be cleared for anything yet.
Wait a minute. So this makes this even worse. Because I kept telling the story because you kept correcting me.
That's why I'm correcting you, because I had not been to my 6 week checkup to be cleared for anything. But Mother knows my surgeon, so she sent him a text message because I have an issue with resting. So you can tell the rest. And he told me what I could do. And so you can tell the rest of your little story.
Oh, so now I am still right. So it wasn't at the check. Like you getting information.
She just sent him a text message like 3 weeks in and was like, hey,
and I knew it. See, I remembered it was the 3 week mark, and that's what I knew in my head. Anyway, I'm going to start telling these stories and telling you, hush, I remember things. So at the 3 week mark, she got this text. A little bit, but it doesn't matter. These portions are really not important. Sorry, guys. We do this all the time. But the important part was the text response was she can do half a mile. Half a mile, meaning that is the total distance she can travel. So what does my sister do? My sister goes and does half a mile one way. And it's like, yay! Because in her mind, she has done what she is allotted to do. Then the reality of you have to walk back, which means you now just did a mile. Dawns and she gets back. We were supposed to do some stuff, but her body was like completely and utterly exhausted. She was hurting. And this is 3 weeks. Her body's still healing. And I'm like, she slept so long. She was like, I literally went home. I slept from this day to it felt like the weekend. And it's so hard, especially for people to deal with rest and know when you need rest. Like the Lord invites rest. Rest in the Lord. He tells you to rest. Because when you are worn down, the road that is going to be in front of you is not one that you can realistically sustain if you do not get rest. And this blog post just reminded me of how important rest is. And it's not, it seems like this curse word nowadays, especially after COVID, when people like, you didn't come out of COVID with a business and a 401k and a way that you can retire in 5 years because you realize that all of these things changed. What were you doing? Resting from continual work for 30 years for some, 20 years for others, 15 years for others. Like there were a lot of essential workers who didn't get to take a break at all. Like I'm giving my body time to heal. But that's what I got from this. Spiritually, knowing you need to rest. I'm going to go get our guest.
Actually, I mean, you can do what you want to do. I feel like you should let your guests rest, as you just gave a beautiful illustration of how you should sit down somewhere sometime.
Well, currently that's what's going on. So hold on one second. I'll be back with our guest. So y'all can discuss with each other how essential rest is.
How essential rest is. Yeah, I think this is a timely episode. Go ahead, our special guest. You know, he keeps she is not a willing participant. So anyway, since my brother felt like he needed to share my personal medical information, that's how you know he does not work in the healthcare field anyways. So definitely this year I've had to wrestle with the concept of rest. I will tell you, the first week after surgery, I had no issue resting. I was a little groggy, just tired, hurting. And so the rest was not an issue at all. I was happy to lay and sleep. I really didn't have a choice. My body demanded it. But like he said, around week 3, I got a little stir crazy and I wanted to be free, man. Wanted to be out in the world. I was not used to not doing anything. It felt weird. And it felt weird to have people taking care of me and doing things for me. Cause I'm like, you know, I'm well able, guys. Like I can go in there and I can fix this up, no problem. And my grandma would be like, no, sit down. I'll also say Bible study brother and his wife came home during this time and the nieces and nephews were over. Baby, in my mind, in my head, like I know my body is like uncomfortable, but my mind and my body have not had a meeting and synced up yet. And so the baby's in the bathroom and he's trying to wash his hands. And what do? I pick this joker up. And my body was like, hey, ha, woof, no, don't do that. Like, and I was like, help, somebody help me. I think I just messed everything. I think I just messed
Our,
everything.
our special guest has arrived.
Oh, our special guest has
And
arrived. Hello, special guest. So we're discussing rest and the benefits of rest and how important it is to learn to rest your physical body and to rest spiritually in God. And so your husband felt like you would be a perfect candidate to talk about how important rest is. Do you think rest is important there, sister? I'm asking the real question. Is rest important?
I know you're asking a real question, but there are a lot of conflicting things happening right now. On the one hand, the amount of times you've used rest just now,
Rest.
it feels like you're cursing at
Personal?
me. Like no,
Yeah.
like you're being really rude.
Rest?
It
Because I'm talking
shouldn't
about
feel
rest.
like that.
Yeah.
No, it's the aggression. I feel like there's an aggressive
Because rest is important. I'm just asking.
Rest is a beautiful thing. It's important and all that stuff. All that is true.
oh, real quick aside.
All that is true.
Real quick aside, guys. So here's how conflicted my wife is about rest because she is
Rest
lying
is
to you
great.
all.
I'm not lying.
She's so ready to be done resting. I had to walk through with her that she's in her second week of recovery. She was like, "This is
It's
the
been
third
3
week,"
weeks.
and I'm like,
but
it has
but
not, though.
the first week was the surgery, so that doesn't
No.
count.
It does.
It's like you can't count the event. It's happening. This is the part that you waited for after to start. That's the thing that we're counting.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Has it been 21 days
Since when?
since surgery?
No, not at all.
Exactly. So it's not 3 weeks.
Exactly. But that's the realization I had to come to when he said it. I was like, it's not been 3 weeks. And you said 21 days. I'm not counting that. Obviously, I'm on teacher brain. So if it's been at least 3 sets of Monday through Friday, it's been 3 weeks. So, but to answer your question, yes, rest is very important. It's a necessary part of life. And I was honestly just a few moments ago thanking God about it. Like I was doing so Uverse Bible app has these little guided prayers or whatnot. I hadn't got a chance to try it until today, which is thanks to the rest. And so I was going through and I was listening to it and I was like, oh, this is so nice and lovely and beautiful. And it was like at the end of it, it was like, meditate on your time just now and thank God for something that you're grateful for. And I was like, you know what, Lord, I am really grateful for this time of rest. It is slow. Like healing is a slow process when it's physical. It's slow when it's emotional. It's slow when it's spiritual.
It's
you
slow.
can the difference is you can still do other stuff, right? Like while you're waiting on that part to happen.
I violated her HIPAA. Do you want me to violate your HIPAA?
No, do not
stop violating things. Like let's just stop that.
That's what she said.
Tell him.
Let's go the opposite direction because you're better than that.
him.
Like no, what? Okay, anyways, but. So I was telling Mom, like right before the prayer, I was texting my family chat and I was like, Mom, I'm so bored. I want to do math problems. I want a math book because I'm so incredibly bored. I want to be productive. And she was like, healing is productive. And I said, but it's so slow. And even with that, like I said in the prayer, I was thanking God because I was like, I know it feels slow to my flesh. And I am ready to jump out a window, but your timing is perfect. The amount of time it's taking my body to heal is perfect. This is a good thing. And I'm grateful that you've given me everything that I need for it. You've provided for me. Everything is taken care of, no matter what it feels or looks like. And you've given me this space to do it. So rest is important. I mean, it's a biblical principle, right? Like the Sabbath day rest, like having rest every week, having rest at the end of the day. Like it's so important that the Lord literally incorporated it in the way that he created an organized time. And then when you finally get to leave here, you get to enter your dominion rest, your your final real rest. So it is a beautiful thing. It's just, as with all things that the Lord establishes, our flesh be wanting to fight and mind be wanting to fight. And that's why I responded in that way, because every time you said rest, it was like I was like, why she want to fight me? We just started talking five minutes ago. And I love her so much, but she wants to fight me.
But rest. Because you remember how bad you talked about me. Like, I don't understand why she can't just sit
No,
down.
I was messing with you because I knew where I knew where I was going. I knew where I was going. I was like, let me get these digs in now because I already know it's gonna be worse for me. And I was right.
It is.
I was right.
It's hard. It's hard to rest, especially when you have a mindset of like, let's get it done. Like we have to get it done.
Is it done yet? Isn't it over? What are we doing here?
So I appreciate you, sister, for your openness and your transparency and just reiterating that rest is important. You know, I'm thankful for the rest that I had. And I was telling my best friend that like while I was resting and didn't have a choice, I was telling her, you know, I've had to tell myself to just be thankful for this time that I'm getting with my mom and my grandma and my aunt uninterrupted. Like, who gets to do that, you know, in their late 30s and just have this time to come back to yourself and to heal. And I just have to be thankful for that instead of worrying about all the other things and every other thing I'm trying to do.
I randomly saw, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say this and I'm be done. I randomly saw a tweet. I don't know if it was a tweet or Instagram post. I think it was a tweet. It was like productivity, like over productivity is a trauma response. I was like, y'all tripping. I didn't come over here for this.
You know what?
Anyway.
For the both of you, let's just thank God for growth. Praise the Lord.
And I didn't come here for the petty, but I thank God. And that's all I'll say about that.
Well, you know, awfully petty. So
awfully petty.
He is. Thank you so much for being interrupted from your rest unwillingly. He violated your rest and tried to violate your HIPAA, but God blocked it.
Yes, he did. Hallelujah.
Go enjoy your rest, sister. Thank you for hopping on. We appreciate you. We love you. We're always happy to hear your voice.
Love you guys too.
I see y'all. Okay, so listen. So I almost tried to violate your rest and try to get you to work more and longer, but go rest. Go rest, sister. You could have had you a whole job, honey. I was gonna let you executive produce, but you're supposed to be resting. So rest. All
right. Special
Welcome
guest
back, bro.
For the special guesters, or the trauma sisters, or the y'all need to sit down somewhere sisters is what I call y'all.
Yeah, it's a process though. Like, I think the last thing she said was very valid though. The need to feel like you have to work potentially comes from a trauma response. Like if I don't put my hands on it, it's not going to be okay. And
well, I don't think it's that. I think for the both of you, there's a bigger similarity of why you do that. And it's I have to do something to be clean. I have to, to me, because there's this connecting point of working for salvation in that certain sense.
There is a connecting point of working for salvation. So for salvation, we don't work for salvation. Right. You know, Jesus paid it all. The blood took care of that on Calvary's cross. When he got up with all power in his hands. And so we're free. We are free indeed. I don't think my working comes from, I'm not working for freedom or to be clean. Not I'm so working because
there's a level of what I mean more so, just to make sure I'm clarifying correctly.
Okay,
is the level of worthiness, and there's this thing whether like there are consistencies in work that you do have to have, right? But when you wake up and you're about to do a blog post, when you have those moments like, how am I supposed to do a blog every day? Like you're equipped, you're more than enough. You know, God will always give you those things. And sometimes it doesn't feel that way, but we add this level of work to things that are God inspired. It doesn't mean that you don't get tired from those things, but a physical response isn't akin to the spiritual response as well. And I mean that as like, so as we get tired, we then relate that to being tired in spirit sometimes when it's just you need to rest kind of thing.
I think my wanting to work probably honestly has to do more with trust and not necessarily it probably has to do with trust. Me not trusting somebody to do it right. Me not trusting that um yeah, me not trusting that somebody else is gonna take care of it or do it. So it probably boils down to trust. And I think if I had some time to really delve deep, because I have to think about my feelings. I'm not you. I can't just say, well, it's blah blah blah. But I can say with certainty though, my working is not a result of me trying to feel worthy. It's not that. It probably is rooted more in trust. So that's what I'm gonna say. And I have had to learn to rest. If you don't sit down, the Lord will sit you down. So I have been sat down this year. And the crazy thing is, so in my mind, this is how like not restful my mind is at times. I knew because I work from home, the doctor told me I could go back to work in 4 weeks because I sit at home, but I could not drive for 6 weeks, which is no big deal because I work from home. But in my mind, because I could go back to work in 4 weeks because I'm just sitting there, there's no reason why I could not go to dinner with my friends 10 days after surgery. I didn't realize I couldn't drive.
10 days.
I didn't realize I couldn't drive. That never even crossed my mind. Honestly, just to be honest, my plans were to stay with mama for 2 weeks. And then after that, I was going to be all good. I got it from here, sis. Like, appreciate you. And really, honestly, for me, the 2 weeks was a stretch, but she was insistent. And I was like, in my mind, I was going back to church in like 2 weeks. Like,
ooh,
even though.
Listen, the life that you and your sister-in-law live are the same.
So in my mind, it never even occurred to me that I physically wouldn't be able to handle that. Like that was outside of the realm of my imagination, and not even because I feel like I'm some superwoman, but I could not imagine a world where I wouldn't be able to do what I normally do. Like it just was foreign, a foreign concept. But when I say I got sat down,
listen, it'd be small stuff, bro.
And it would be the smallest things. And every time, and it wasn't like I wasn't honestly being real. I wasn't trying to be openly defiant, but I was like, this body that I have, like, why is it not working? Why? Like, why is it not working the way it's supposed to work?
But
like,
it was more so like, because this is the thing, and I get it from both of y'all. It's like, I should be able to do this. And it's like,
that is it. Like, I should be able to do it.
It's like, no, because like the part that you need, like your core, like this would be the perfect defining moment to understand when people talk to you about working out and how pivotal your core is.
It's very pivotal.
Like it's in everything. Like you use
your core,
you use your
core for everything. You use your core more than you know. You use your. That's why it's called the core. It's the center. Yes. And so I think that's a great extraction point, something we can pull from. Your core, your spiritual core has to be strong. And when you get injured spiritually, it is okay and probably needed to rest so you can heal. Now, I don't know what the spiritual rest is that God will have for you, but I feel it's so important that we learn to rest in God so that we can be healed on so many levels, so many different hurts.
It can be a lot of different things. And spiritually, I want to talk to you guys just as an example of things that we go through with this, right? So in sister-in-laws, my wives, lovely battles is thinking about the job. And in a way of like, oh, this thing is going to fall apart in a certain way if I'm not there. And then that's a certain inhibitor to her rest. Another portion of that can be again, the dependency on others while not focusing on what it is that you need for rest so you can get back to whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Right.
It's the trusting that God has a plan in your rest, that he's still in control. Like you said earlier, it might be a faith thing in understanding that God is in control and you do not have to work everything and he's working on your behalf when he knows that you need this rest. It's really hard to prioritize your mental, your physical, your spiritual health, because there are so many things that would tell you to prioritize others and put your body at risk, put your spirit at risk. There are so many different instances where we don't give God the time to restore us. And we think that it is our job to restore others while not being restored. A broken person that is not filled with God cannot heal another person or be the instrument that God would have them to be, because you're not full of anything. You're full of a tradition. At that point, you are more tradition, you are more habit than you are spiritually led. And that's an issue that we have in the church, because so many people, because there's a need in so many different places. We talked about this with Bible Study Cousin in one of my favorite episodes about being hurt and tired in the church. And think about your personal well-being in a way that it's not selfish to do that. The selfish part is if you only think about that and you never get back to the fact that we are made for others, we are made for community. But prioritizing God first, yourself second, is what will ultimately allow you to do what God has for you to do, because you'll have the energy and the fervor, and you got to recharge. You got to rest, because a tired there is a reason that lions hunt the weak and sickly at the back of, you can't hunt something that is fully prepared for what's going on.
Strong.
And he is here to kill, steal, destroy. And he waiting on you to be tired and not resting with the Lord watching you. If you keep pushing through that tired, you in the wilderness by yourself.
That is so very true, brother. So it's a timely reminder for me to just rest in God, to rest in him with everything. I need these reminders. So hopefully this episode has blessed you. And hopefully you don't take my personal health information and plaster it on a billboard. But if you do, it's fine. You know why? Because I'm resting.
You are. And that's so weird. If you do that, I don't know.
People are weird, bro. You act like we live in a place, a society of people that's not weird. People are weird.
But that one would be strange to me. That's a weird.
So that's the thing that would be it's a weird world.
There's a lot of weird stuff going on in this weird world. But to be she had this type of surgery, billboard, is okay, but why? There are other weird things that the world does that I know is in a certain level of whatever. But I don't know what you do with that. I guess because I don't know what you do with that. I
will say, hopefully this will be I feel I don't know. Maybe one day we'll discuss in further detail, but God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. So I thank God for my period of rest, the opportunity to rest. And I thank God that I am being more mindful about resting.
Oh man,
try not to fight it so much.
All fair joke, but anyway, moving on.
You're not a comedian, because the last episode we did, your joke fell flat. Wah wah.
Well, it was your joke.
But your delivery trash.
Okay, no. I'm gonna give you no. Deliver it properly. The comedian, deliver it properly. Here's your stage. That's the dismount for this episode. Deliver the joke.
No, so listen, it was perfect for the last episode. It doesn't fit in here. So Read the blog and you
read Play-Doh and see
Party
if
hard,
you
hard.
get it. If you guys tell yourself the joke.
Because here's the thing, it wasn't even like a what did the cow say to the man? Moo. You know, it wasn't like a setup joke. It was just like probably funny, like as you read it, but you said it like I had set up a whole.
You did. You did. I don't care what you did. And I know you well enough to know you did. And I bet you're wondering. Like, that's what you did. You did the, and I bet you're wondering. And that is a setup.
I should have made you read it verbatim in the last episode.
Oh my gosh.
No, do not pull it up. Come on and tell these people. And did you forget to do what you were supposed to do last time? Or did you talk about the YouTube at the beginning of this episode?
I did forget.
See?
Man,
but you're trying to be
we had special guests and all kinds of stuff this episode. Anyway, y'all know his blog posts every day over at BibleStudyGirl.com. If you want to follow us on the socials, on Twitter, it's at BibleStudyGirl, 2. On Instagram, it's _BibleStudyGirl. Our Facebook is BibleStudyGirl. Make sure you follow the page to get updates, not only on the podcast, but also on the videos. Our YouTube link is also down in the description. Get us to 100 subscribers so we can start saying the slug that allows us to make that promotion a lot easier. We're going to be doing a lot of things with the channel. The devil ain't gonna win. I am victorious. And remember, guys, it's not wallowing in the sin that preaches, because you can't stay there, but we preach.
And until we meet again, guys, keep preaching.